right, well, the first set of questions are going to be aimed at their answers related to things about them having the ability to be president. So, talking about experience and specifically. In the past, candidates and their running mates without AS experience often do not fare that well in the elections. Cameron, you stated that one of your weaknesses was having an insider's perspective on AS, and you happen to have chosen a running mate with 0 AS experience. Mark, you do not properly have Senate experience, but your running mate does. So can both of you please comment on how necessary AS experience is to being president as well as vice president? Cameron, do you want to start us off?
Definitely. I did state that that one of, I think, my weaknesses as well as Heath the vested ticket is that we have been in AS internally, and some people look at it as a disadvantage, but or as an advantage to be in AS. But the reason I picked Shannon was because she didn't have AS experience at Biola, because I think that we really need to look at AS from a perspective of how students look at AS at Biola, and being on the inside, you've lost that perspective. And I do think that it is essential for a president of AS to have that experience within AS. Shannon also has 4 years of AS experience in high school, where she was a senator and also on the intramural division there. And I think that with our track record of empowering students outside of AS as well as inside of AS is really what AS as an organization and as a whole needs, as well as Biola.
Mark, would you like to comment?
Yes. It is important, I think, for the candidates, the running mates tickets to have, for AS VP and senior VP and president to have some knowledge of AS, though I wouldn't say it's a necessary condition for running, obviously, and for serving in AS. Holding a position of leadership requires leadership responsibilities and abilities and capabilities. So I think bringing outside leadership experience into an organization like AS can be done without prior knowledge of the organization. But given the job descriptions of senior VP and president, it's most definitely more weighty for the senior VP to have Senate experience than for the president, though it would be good for the president to be familiar with. But given the job descriptions, the president is more the organization as a whole leader, leader of the AS as a whole, and so knowledge of both Senate as well as service branches would be beneficial and profitable in the campaign and the administration.
As AS president, you will oversee a budget over $500,000, as well as oversee over 60 employees. As such, you obviously need to be an effective administrator to replace the man to my right. Both of you listed a number of reasons why you think you would be effective administrators. I'd like you to consider the follow hypothetical situation and how you would mediate such a conflict. So assume, for the sake of argument, that students are disgruntled about a decision that affects a number of students, and the decision was made by one of the AS service chairs. Assume that there were inequities in the chair's decision process. How would you address this concern of the students while maintaining the integrity of your administration? Do you think you're prepared to address such a conflict? Mark, do you want to start us?
Sure. It's never fun to address conflicts, but it is necessary. I would do so with caution and with urgency as well. It would be good to make clear the depth of the situation, whatever the depth be. If removal of office would be necessary, I'm prepared to do that. Though that definitely wouldn't be my first suggestion if it weren't need be. Renewal and redemption is always should always be the goal in mind. And I think you can do that without firing somebody. But if the case called for an action such as that, we would do that. We definitely want to serve the students and meet their needs and give them the tools they need, whatever. And if someone in our organization is not fulfilling their job description or abiding by that plan, subscribing to that vision, we would definitely want to do something about that.
Cameron?
I think that it's essential to listen to the student's voice. AS is the student's organization, and if they're upset about a decision that a service chair made, then that needs to be addressed, and I'm more than prepared to do so. Currently, as South Horton Senator, I have a leadership team that I preside over, 9 individuals, and we've had some conflict on there, and I've dealt well with that, and I think that it's important to be transparent with what's gone on both ends of conflict, and I think that being a mediator is definitely a good skill to have, and I have that skill, and making sure that the students get adequate information and answered as to why the service chair did make that decision, and if, like Mark said, if the service chair did not fulfill their responsibilities and it had huge consequences, I'm definitely prepared to remove them from their position.
A key function of AS obviously is serving a communicative role, communicating to the administration as well as to the student body. In your answers regarding questions about communication, Mark, your answers seem to be largely about enhancing existing modes of technology that we're already using. So streamlining BSI, Bubs, Blackboard, and the registrar into a more kind of efficient kind of interface. And Cameron, your answer seems to largely be about diversifying modes, such as adding calendars, having drop boxes, talking about having a regular Facebook chat with the AS president. So my question to the candidates is, should enhancing existing forms of communication be the priority, or diversifying the forms of communication be the priority? Cameron, you want to start us off?
Sure, I would say diversifying. Students marketing tells us that, people are reached in through different, visual as well as audio and different modes of media. And I think that that's important. And definitely with the calendar idea, that is having a central place where AS events and club events can be located and kind of eliminate the confusion of a ton of signs going up the day of the event and students missing out on those. And also with the drop boxes, hearing the student's voice better, and also we talked about utilizing the AS website. One of our ideas is to have senators, and Shannon and I have talked a lot about this, updating their pages more and being more frequent about their posts, as well as having a feedback form that's on the AS website where students can fill that out and click submit, so we can get that feedback as what was successful, what didn't work in the event, what events they'd like to see. And so I'd say diversifying the modes of communication, as well as I think my track record proves that I have great skills as a communicator. I've worked with various departments on campus, res life, facilities, housing, university assessment, study abroad, and I've been effective in communicating the student voice to them and working on improving areas at Biola that students feel need improvement.
Mark?
Well, it seems to me that we are somewhat diverse in our forms of communication already, at least as far as the different sites that we have to visit each day to perform our daily tasks, such as Portal, the AS website, SMU, Blackboard. It can be very annoying to log in and out of each one, have a different username, password for each one. So diversity is good in some senses, but if it can be very difficult as well. So it makes sense to me to try and unify as much of that as possible to make things more organized and simpler, user-friendly. And we can do that by integrating all of those things. We can even create a new calendar and integrate it into our AS website that is that has links to SMU events as well as AS events, events going on all around campus. And we can have that centralized, that way it's organized, it's accessible to everyone at any time, and it's a very simple way of taking what diversity we have already in our forms of communication and making it more accessible.